Carthage City leaders discussed the process for removing water and electric plant board members. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, the Carthage City Council action tonight concerning the water and electric plant board. Plus, restrictions go into place as the city of Caney, Kansas undergoes a severe water shortage, and students in McDonald County School learn some real-world skills while building a tiny home.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Carthage City Council tonight approved new protections for the water and electric plant board. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more on those protections and community reaction.
The Carthage City Council considers giving Carthage water and electric plant board members the same protections as city officials.
Estimated that position is similar in ranking to the department head. So as part of the negotiations of earlier in the summer, that's something that I agreed to bring before the council as far as providing them with similar protections.
If a board member is requested to resign, they have the right to a hearing and a written cause if the council approves. Along with these protections, the mayor is appointing 2 new members to the board. However, some community members question motives.
Now this happened, it makes you wonder what their real motive is. I think there are some other motives. There may be a couple of people who have a vendetta of some kind against CWNEP.
By granting more protections, the city officials believe that this will amend the relationship between Carthage Water and Electric Plant. Some community members believe that this is a step in the right direction.
Provides them a little additional protection than they have now, and hopefully would give a little peace of mind that, you know, they've got right to a hearing.
Basically, there were no reasons given when they were terminated before, and this would provide them the protection of, as you say, having a trial, listing allegations against them. It would basically give them the same protections of termination that any other city official has.
If y'all don't like me, that's fine. I'm being as transparent as I can be.
Most of the discourse comes from the mayor appointing 2 new members to the CWEP board rather than granting the board of protections. Reporting in Carthage, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The protections were approved tonight by a vote of 8-2. Next council meeting, the council and CWEP will agree to a date and time to hold a public discussion and explain to the community what's been going on between them. Pretty warm out there, but otherwise nice weather. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Eddy.
Yeah, it definitely was warm outside for us today, but it was a nice day. The humidity wasn't too bad. 88 though for a high, started at 60. 78 is our average high, so we were 10 degrees above that mark. Really not that far from the record. 93 set way back in 1953. All right, 67 in Stockton, cooling down a little bit. 73 in Anderson. We have Fort Scott sitting at 76 degrees. Oswego 71. Veneta checking in at 74 degrees. Had a couple little sprinkles shoot across our northern counties earlier this evening. Those are pretty much gone, but we could see a couple random showers trying to pop up for us as we go into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Through the night, 71 here shortly, down to 62, 73 by 10 a.m. We'll talk about any rain chances and how long the heat's going to stick around here in just a bit.
See you soon. The community of Caney, Kansas is still facing a severe water shortage. In the last 2 months, the city has been in a stage 3 emergency, representing the most critical level on the severity scale. As a result, residents are still restricted to using water only for essential activities. Car washes, pools, and other non-essential activities remain closed. The city's plan was to treat the pool water and send it to the water reservoir for use by residents, but they did not proceed with that idea.
That was chlorinated water that, we'd have to dechlorinate it and then probably treat it, run it through the treatment plant again. So there really wasn't any way to release it into the pool itself or the water pool that we draw from itself. But that's just a protocol.
First time this came out, there was definitely some tough transition. But since we've been through it, we know what we need to do. And what we've realized is that it takes all of us doing our part. And so that's the key thing that we try to focus on, is that we're in this all together.
KOAM schools are also taking measures to support the cause. Besides using disposable utensils when possible, they're also watering the football field only enough to keep it safe for the players. The remains of a World War II soldier that had been in a Japanese prisoner of war camp will soon be laid to rest in Jay, Oklahoma. Private First Class in the Army and POW Lex Lee Lillard will be interred October 7th at McQuoid Family Cemetery. PFC Lillard was one of the many POWs subjected to the 65-mile Bataan Death March. His remains were identified using circumstantial evidence and DNA analysis. PFC Lillard died in July of 1942. He was 20 years old. September is National Suicide Prevention Month, so we spoke with the Assistant Director of Crisis Services at the Ozark Center, Stephen McCullough, about warning signs you can look for among loved ones. He says a big one is withdrawing from their usual activities. He also says the best way to prevent suicide is to connect and talk about it.
The best way to prevent it is to talk about it, because then when we talk about it, we can get a lot of those misunderstandings out in the open. We can make sure we get them connected to people who can help them and get them further care.
If you're experiencing any suicidal thoughts, there's a national hotline that might be able to help. The number is very simple. Remember this, 988. Students at McDonald County High School have begun the process of building a fully functional tiny home. Reporter Miranda Burton has that story.
At McDonald County High School, educators are intentional about equipping their students with real-world experience through trade skills. Though the students are only now constructing the rafters, their tiny home is set to be complete by the end of the school year.
To take a project with kids that are green, a few of them, have some knowledge, to get them through this project to the point that it's finished, and they can step back and say it's theirs.
The construction trades program ensures students learn carpentry work as well as plumbing and electrical work. Students are responding to the challenge with enthusiasm as they consider where these skills could take them from here.
When I joined, I actually started to enjoy it. I like the hands-on, I like learning, I like working with my teammates. And I just got really into carpentry and then masonry. And this year I want to do electricity, STEM out.
Definitely just the whole experience of getting to build a house. Not a lot of high schoolers can say they built a home with their hands.
Through this experience, some students are expressing interest in continuing their trade education after high school.
It's been very fun. I've learned a lot. Kaufman's taught me a lot. I plan to do something, go into a trade school after I get out of this school.
Reporting from McDonald County, this is Miranda Burton, KOAM News.
Students began construction the first week of school, and they spend 3 hours every school day in the shop to make sure their project is completed. Coming up, the federal government moves to place protections on net neutrality. Plus, a judge finds former President Trump committed extensive financial fraud for years. We'll have the latest.
There's a lot to say about what makes 40.
A judge this afternoon ruled that Donald Trump, his sons Don Jr. and Eric, and the entire Trump organization committed extensive and persistent fraud over a decade. The ruling says the former president inflated the value of his assets by billions of dollars and lied about his net worth on financial documents to banks and insurance companies. Reporter Scott McFarland reports from Washington.
A judge has found Donald Trump engaged in fraud, overinflating the worth of his real estate holdings and misleading banks and insurers. The ruling comes days before the Trump organization is to stand trial in a civil case alleging years of fraud and misconduct brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James last year.
Claiming you have money that you do not have does not amount to the art of the deal. It's the art of the steal.
In the ruling, the judge found Trump and top executives at the Trump Organization lied about his assets in order to secure favorable loans and lower insurance premiums. In one instance, claiming his 10,000 square foot apartment was roughly 30,000 square feet. The judge summarizing Trump's approach to bookkeeping, this is a fantasy world, not the real world. The lawsuit from Attorney General James seeks $250 million.
And there cannot be different rules for different people in this country or in this state. And former presidents are no different.
When Trump was deposed in the case in August of last year, he pleaded the fifth and then repeated it more than 400 times.
Is that correct? Same answer.
Trump has repeatedly denied wrongdoing and lashed out at James for bringing the suit.
This raging maniac campaigned for office, ranting and raving about her goal. Her only goal is, we got to get Donald Trump, we got to get him. She knew nothing about me. I never heard of her.
In a statement to CBS News, a Trump spokesperson calls the ruling fundamentally flawed. The judge also ordered sanctions of some of Trump's attorneys, saying some of their arguments were, quote, frivolous. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Washington.
James's office previously sued Trump for misusing his charitable foundation to further his political and business interests. Trump was ordered to give $2 million to charity as a fine, while his own charity, the Trump Foundation, was shut down. President Biden did something today that the White House says no modern U.S. president has done before. He walked a picket line. Holding a bullhorn and wearing a union ball cap, the nation's chief executive urged striking United Auto Workers in the Detroit area to stick with it and keep fighting for higher wages. Tomorrow, former President Trump will address non-union members in the crucial battleground state of Michigan instead of taking part in tomorrow night's second Republican debate. Today, the Writers Guild of America said its members could return to work tomorrow while a ratification vote takes place on a new 3-year contract with Hollywood studios. Union leaders voted unanimously to lift the restraining order and end the strike as of 2:01 tomorrow morning. Film and television writers walked off the job in May in a fight for higher pay, protections that their work will not be replaced by artificial intelligence, and some other issues. Video game voice actors and motion capture performers have voted to authorize a strike of their own if labor negotiation talks with the gaming companies fail. The union representing them, SAG-AFTRA, is also representing thousands of Hollywood actors who walked off the job more than 2 months ago. This all comes as the Writers Guild of America reached a tentative deal toward a new contract following a nearly 5-month-long strike. The U.S. government is working to restore sweeping regulations for high-speed internet providers. Under the proposed rules, the FCC would designate internet service as essential communications, akin to traditional telephone services. As an essential service, internet service providers would be banned from blocking or slowing down access to websites and online content. A little later, the Gorillas return home to take on Central Oklahoma on the volleyball court. John's going to serve up the highlights for us in sports.
Plus, we may get a few random showers tomorrow. What about the heat? We're going to look at that coming up.
Wheels Pittsburgh.
Well, it was a warm one for us today, but it turned out to be a great Tuesday. Our high temp into the upper 80s for afternoon highs. Plus, our humidity wasn't that bad. Here's a nice shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. It looks pretty good outside for us right now. Hey, we are almost into October. It is technically fall, so of course the fall foliage forecast. Not much going on right now. Some of the trees barely starting to change colors, but we will get toward to our peak, but this isn't going to occur for several weeks. So the last week of October, the first week of November, that is usually on average when we see our peak around the 4-state area. Temperatures right now, 76 Fort Scott, 73 Neosho, Carthage at 70, Miami much the same, 70, 73 in Pittsburgh. Let's go to Joplin. Outside sitting at 71, southerly winds at about 5 to 10, looks pretty good. As we go through the night, we slide back to lower 60s, overnight low 62, rebound 73 by morning, And you can see we had a couple little tiny sprinkles in our northern counties earlier. Now we have thunderstorms near St. Louis, a couple little guys to the west of Wichita, but besides that, not a whole bunch going on. Those fired off due to this upper level low right across parts of Wisconsin. And then if you follow the clouds, there's a little cold front trailed back in between Joplin and Kansas City, and that will affect us a little bit as we get into the daytime hours tomorrow. But out to the west, not much going on. That is pretty much our weather as we go through the next several days. All right, let me walk you through time. Here comes this weak front, slides in by morning. We start into the mid 60s. The front just hangs out throughout the day. Here's the noon hour, couple little showers trying to pop up. Most of you will stay dry. Few little showers through the afternoon as the front hangs out. High temperatures, mid to upper 80s, about 86, 87, maybe a notch cooler tomorrow just due to a little bit more cloud cover. As we go through the evening hours, clouds will start to break. The front lifts back toward the north. By Thursday morning, we start into the mid 60s. And then Thursday again, sunny skies, high temps into the upper 80s as we go into Thursday afternoon. Here's your day planner. Your Wednesday, 62 to start, 81 by noon, 85 by 4 p.m., high temp 86. And again, a couple little random showers trying to pop up. But we aren't going to get any big storm systems in here for a while, and this is due to big dome of high pressure. So in this part of the pattern, 50 days ago is when we had all that triple-digit heat. Now we're getting a little bit cooler, so instead we're dealing with upper 80s. But our new pattern is about to switch. So high pressure holds on through the weekend. Once we get into the middle of next week, watch these waves starting to come out, and that is the official beginning of our next pattern, which is going to be in place for the next year. 86 tomorrow, 88 Thursday, 88s all the way through the weekend, looking pretty good. And then better rain chances by the middle and latter half of next week.
We'll certainly need more rain by then. We do. We need the rain
yes, we
right
do.
now. Thanks, John. Still ahead, Pitt State Volleyball plays host to the number 20 team in the country tonight. And Webb City Softball tries to get its 6th win in a row. John Dales has highlights from those games and a lot more. That's up next.
News Now, home of Super Bowl
and construction.
Pitt State Volleyball back at home tonight. The Gorillas opened MIAA play 2 weeks ago in a match where they easily dispatched of Newman in straight sets. The Gorillas went on the road for the next 3 matches and went 1-2, one of those losses being a sweep at the hands of Central Oklahoma, where they play again tonight. Pitt State hoping for an upset against the number 20 team in the country. First set, Gorillas down 11-1 when Seville Gates gets that kill and sparks some life into the team. PSU within single digits of UCO, but this rally leads to a spike from Micaiah Purdue and gives the Broncos a 17-6 lead. They win the first and second sets. Gorillas backs against the wall. They win 3 points in a row in the third set, entering this serve from Kate Bandry, and then Vix Violet is going to finish it off, elevating up top for the kill. PSU takes a 6-5 lead in the third set. The Broncos just seemed like they had the answer all night, though, and they did again here. Big time block up front. They win it 25-16. UCO sweeps Pitt State for the second time this season. District playoffs just 2.5 weeks away from Missouri High School softball. Now's the time when you want to be hitting your stride. Webb City is doing that. Entering this evening, the Cardinals have a 5-game winning streak. Webb City softball at home taking on Ozark. A little bit of trouble in the early going. First inning, Addie Burns pitches it in there, and that's a double off the bat of Audrey Carlton off the wall. A run's going to score. It's 1-0. Later in the inning, bases loaded, and this is going to clear them. 3 RBI double down the line and left for Kaylee Linneber makes it 4-0 Tigers. Webb City struggles against Ozark starter Kendall McCoy. First the strikeout swinging on Kylie Sargent. Next batter, same result, 4-0 Tigers after 1 inning. Top of the third, same score, and Lily Hall finally breaks through for the Cardinals at the plate. She gets the single right up the middle. But the very next batter, pinch runner Rylan McFarland's trying to steal second, and she gets thrown out. That kind of day for Webb City. Ozark goes on the road and wins it 13-6, ending the Cardinals' win streak. Meanwhile, Carl Junction hosting Carthage in another COC battle. The Bulldogs get a big win, 12-4 on senior night. It's just the second victory for CJ in the month of September and the first since September 9th. Carthage has now lost 2 in a row. Tigers back at it on the road at Republic on Thursday. And Neosho takes down Joplin 4-3 in a really tight contest. Carly Kinnard outstanding for the Wildcats in the circle. She pitches a complete game, gets the win, only allowing 1 earned run. Struck out 9 Eagles and also hit a home run at the plate. Neosho 21-5 and won 10 straight. Over to baseball too. The Cardinals go on the road to the Brewers, trying to stop them from clinching the division. They do their job and beat Milwaukee, but Milwaukee backs into winning the division.
Oh. Well, at least the Cards did their job.
Yes, yeah.
There's some satisfaction, I guess, in the lost season to not letting another team celebrate too much at your place. Yeah. We'll be right back. Airbnb is offering up a one-of-a-kind stay for the ogre lovers out there. Yeah, it could be you. For fans of the Shrek films, Airbnb is offering a 2-night stay in Shrek's mud-laden, moss-covered, murky-watered swamp located in the Scottish Highlands. Stay comes complete with a waffle breakfast, courtesy of Donkey, a parfait, and earwax candlelight. And I can almost smell it now. The Swampy Vacay spot will open for a booking on October 13th for up to 3 guests, October 27th through the 29th.
Looks like a Bigfoot country.
Yes, it does. Bigfoot might be the least of your worries there.
No kidding.
The weather.
Looks pretty good. We are going to get some more clouds tomorrow. Could get a random sprinkle or shower. High temp, 86.
Final sports note.
Miami softball playing for a regional championship. They host things starting out tomorrow.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.